Defense calls Gina Torsha.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
This way, please.
Actually, as she's sitting down, attorneys come back one more time. Hello, ma'am.
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
Good. Go ahead and have a seat. My name is Judge White. I'm presiding over this case. Just make yourself comfortable in that chair. You want to be about 12 to 15 inches from that microphone. You can adjust it up, down, left, right, however you need. And if you just speak in a loud, clear voice, we should hear you just fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you tell us your full name, spell your last name, please?
Gina Torsha, Torchia.
Ms. Torsha, did you at one time work for an attorney by the name of Stephanie Murphy?
Yes, sir.
Back in June of 2018, would you have been employed under Ms. Murphy's guidance?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall exchanging an email with Detective Gillum on June 5th, 2018?
Yes, sir.
Did you have an opportunity to review it?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to pass to you, Ms. Torsha, what I've marked as Defendant's Exhibit number 25. And ask you if you can identify it for us.
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's an email from Detective Gillum.
And does it include a response from you? Or is it a response to your initial email to him?
It's a response from my initial email to him.
Okay, and is it a true and accurate copy of your email to him and Detective Gillum's response?
Yes, sir.
Move to introduce it into evidence at this point, Your Honor, Defense Exhibit 25.
Same objection?
Yes.
Overruled.
All right, now,
Defendant Exhibit 25 will be received.
Ms. Torsha, did you on this day send Detective Gillum a copy of the South Carolina Domestic Violence Restraining Order?
No, because we were not aware of one.
Okay. Does he send you a copy of the order?
He does send me a copy of the order, but there was never an order entered into the Charleston County Clerk's or the Sheriff's Office.
Yeah.
So we had no proof of an order at the time.
Would you please read for us, Ms. Torsha, Detective Gillum's response to you on Tuesday, June 5th, 2018,
Gina,
6:19 p.m.?
I noticed something that you both need to be aware of, unless there's something I'm missing. If you read that section just before the judge's signature, it states the order will be in place 6 months of the day of the hearing, which was May.
Can you slow down just a little bit?
Oh, I'm so
Thank
sorry. I'm a fast reader.
Okay. Well,
Sorry about
slow
that.
down a little bit for us.
Evelyn Wood School, huh?
Where do you want me?
You're good.
Okay.
6 months of the day of the hearing.
Which was May, November, which was May, November 3rd.
Ms. Torsha,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Would you start over, please?
Yes, sir. Gina, I noticed something that you both need to be aware of. Unless there's something I am missing. If you read that section just before the judge's signature, it states the order will be placed for 6 months of the day of the hearing, which was November 3rd, not November 27th, and sets it to expire May 3rd, which would be 6 months from November 3rd. Again, it's not something I would have made a physical arrest on, but the SAO will at some point make a filing decision. If I am reading something wrong here, let me know.
Okay, we can agree that SAO would be state attorney.
Yes, sir.
So, lastly, Ms. Torsia, this is Detective Gillum telling you that the order was in effect, the stay-away order,
Objection.
as of November 3rd, 2017, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
This is Detective Gillum explaining to you.
Objection asked and answered. She read the email.
Sustained.
Just a moment, Your Honor. This is for sending. Ms. Torsia, let me pass you what I've marked as Defendant's Exhibit 26.
Can I see it, please? Can I see it? Can we approach this?
So, Ms. Torsia, let me pass this to you. I want to see if this refreshes your recollection as to whether or not you sent a copy of the South Carolina order to Detective Gillum.
Yes, sir. Yes, this is the order.
Yeah, without referring to it, my question is only, did you, in fact, now that your recollection has been refreshed, send a copy of the order to Detective Gillum?
Yes, sir.
And then he responds to you a couple hours later with the email that was introduced.
Yes, and there's also
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Torsia.
Any cross?
Can you finish your answer, please?
Yes. There's also a predicament where Detective Gillum, there was no order entered in to the clerk system in Charleston, and there was no order entered into the Charleston Sheriff's Office. So he had no bounds to make an arrest just based on this when it wasn't entered.
Sustained.
Ask to
further questions.
disregard,
Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Members of the jury, testimony regarding an opinion's witness about violation of criminal law is inappropriate, then you should disregard those last comments.
No
Anything
further
else?
questions. Thank you.
That's sufficient, thank you, Judge.
Redirect?
No,
Can the witness be released?
yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You're released from your subpoena.
Would you like to? Thank you.
Francis Scott, you have his report.
Mr. Taylor?
Your Honor, I wonder if we could publish the exhibit that we have.
No. Wait.
That's okay, I'm not gonna be able to go very far with that.
I think we're gonna have to approach.
Okay, well, All right, members of the jury, I think it's a great time for our mid-morning break. So I'm going to sit you out. Give about 10 minutes or so. Feel free to use the facilities. You can use your phones if you need to send or receive text messages, emails, phone calls, anything like that. Please don't begin any sort of deliberations or discussions amongst yourselves about the case. Don't discuss the case with anybody outside the jury. And don't do any research on the people, places, things, or legal topics we've heard anything about. And 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because I also want to give everybody else a break as well. So, see you back in a few minutes. Y'all can have a seat. All right, so the issue is a police report that I haven't seen, but it's my understanding what it says is that Ms. Benefield went physically to the telephone reporting unit of the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. I'm going to summarize, you can correct me. With
You had it right so far, Judge.
All right, so this isn't marked. Is it, did you seek to admit it as an exhibit or just testimony?
No, just testimony.
All right, so you expect the testimony would be from a deputy with the sheriff's office that Miss Benefield went to the telephone reporting unit on December 6, 2019.
Phone call.
That Miss Benefield wanted to document the fact that her estranged husband admitted in a text message that he placed a tracking device on her vehicle in the past. That she has observed him driving behind her on multiple occasions, which concerns her. And she wanted this information documented. She brought her vehicle to a local auto dealer, but a tracker could not be found. Due to the fact a tracking device was never observed on the vehicle, an information report was completed. All right, any objection?
The objection, Judge, is that anything contained in this report, which the nature of this report, according to it, is information, but anything contained in this report is hearsay other than that Ms. Benefield physically appeared at TRU on December 6, 2019, because everything that Mr. Deputy Lindsay wrote down was told to him by Ms. Benefield. And so the state would object to his being able to testify to anything other than she appeared at TRU on that date, which seems irrelevant, if he remembers.
Proponent, defense?
Yes, so it clearly goes to her state of mind at the time, and it also corroborates her defense. I do not plan to ask the deputy to read it. I'm going to ask him if he took a report from Ms. Benefield, what the date was, and whether or not it was her reporting about a tracker being placed on her vehicle. That's all.
And that's hearsay, in the state's opinion, Judge, because it's self-serving hearsay at this point. It's actually hearsay within hearsay, I think. That if he wrote something and asking him what he wrote in a report about somebody else told him, but it's at least one level.
All right, thank you both very much. The purported reason for the introduction of this testimony, according to the defense, is to show the defendant's state of mind and that it corroborates her defense. Both of those sound to me like the introduction of this report to the sheriff's office regarding a tracker is being offered for the truth of the matter asserted that a tracker was placed. That would obviously make this hearsay. It's the introduction of an out-of-court statement to prove the truth of the matter asserted. That being that a tracker was placed on her vehicle, thereby corroborating the testimony that has already been provided. My notes are that it's already been testified to that the tracker was placed on the defendant's vehicle. And my notes are that she testified, or it's been established, that the victim in this particular case admitted that he placed it on her vehicle.
Yes.
So that's already in, and I think I said this the other day, and it bears repeating. So this is self-serving hearsay. It's clearly excluded. I will just note a secondary reason would be the relevance of this report. The issue is not whether or not she reported it to the authorities. The issue is not whether it's true or it's not true. The case law is very clear on this. It's not relevant whether law enforcement believed her or didn't believe her. The purpose of allowing these prior bad acts, and I say prior bad acts instead of going into all the different ways that can be done, but in a self-defense case, once the defendant has established there was an overt act, prior incidents of violence and intimidation and threats can come into evidence. The case law is very clear. They may be true, they may not be true. The issue is, what did the defendant know on the day that the force was used? And so those prior acts of the specific incidences of prior bad acts or prior violence don't have to have happened to her. She just has to know about them. And the tracker issue, while not necessarily violent, certainly it's intimidating. And I allowed it. I don't remember if the state objected or not, but I allowed that in. The testimony is in. Whether she reported it to law enforcement is of no moment. Whether it's true or not, because put it this way, the tracker wasn't found, so it was just an information report. It doesn't matter if it was found or not. It doesn't matter if this officer believed her or not. The issue is, it's something she's aware of. She testified to an overt act. It's already in evidence. So at this point, this is not marked. What was it? Who was the next person? What was his name or her name?
Lindsay.
That was Deputy Lindell.
Lindsay. Scott
Lindsay.
It's on the top of the report. Judge.
Scott Lindsay, I'm sorry. Lindsey.
So, I mean, you could call him, but the substance of her walking in, him taking a report, again, none of that is relevant to the issue of her knowledge of prior incidents.
That's all I was calling him for, so, yeah.
All right, I do want to give you all a break, though. I know we started at 9. It's about 10:30. I think it's reasonable to go ahead and take a break. So, why don't you guys take 10 minutes?
Thank you, Judge.
Court will be at recess for 10 minutes.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are back on the record.
Please have your seat, please. Ma'am, please have your
All right, Mr. Taylor, do you have your next witness?
Defense calls Vincent Vizzacaro.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring him in. Please make sure you have him spell that for the court reporter.
It's just like it sounds.
Do you need the...
Please.
But we'll wait to turn the lights down until you give us the high sign and the clerk will turn them down.
All right, thank you.
All right, you all can have a seat. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you got to stretch a little bit. Maybe run and jog in place, warm up a little. So we've got the defense going to call their next witness, but before we do that, I did want to ask that anybody begin deliberations amongst yourself, speak with anybody outside of the jury about the case, or do any research on those topics we've talked about. Everybody says no. Mr. Taylor, call your next witness, please.
Thank you. Vincent Vizzacaro.
Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Hello, sir. As the deputy said, just make yourself comfortable in that chair. My name is Judge White. I'm going to be presiding over the case. You can adjust that microphone up, down, left, right as you need. Stay about 12 to 15 inches away. Speak in a loud, clear voice. It'll pick up everything.
Sounds good.
Good morning.
Morning.
Would you tell us your full name and spell your last name for us, please?
Vincent Vizzacaro, Vizzaccaro.
All right, Mr. Vizzacaro, I'd like you to try to keep your voice up if you could.
Will do.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm in real estate.
And where are you a realtor?
Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton, and Sarasota areas.
Do you have any particular specialty?
Residential homes in Lakewood Ranch.
How long have you been doing that?
About 8 years now.
I want to ask you whether or not back in 2018 you had occasion to deal with an individual by the name of Douglas Benefield.
Yes, I did.
Would you tell us the circumstances under which that relationship took place?
Yes, he contacted me looking for a home.
I'll overrule at this point.
Thank you, Judge. Contacted you looking for a home?
Looking for a home he was trying to acquire through a business that he said he owned in Lakewood Ranch.
All right. And back in 2018, Mr. Vizzacaro, did you use emails to communicate with him?
I did.
And did he communicate with you in the same fashion?
Yes, he did.
Were emails back then a normal and customary part of your business?
Very much so, yes.
Did you preserve the emails as they related to each client's files?
I do that, yes.
And were the emails under your care and custody?
Yes.
Mr. Vizicaro, I'm going to pass to you what we've marked as defense exhibit number 27.
Can we approach, Jen?
Yes. All right, members of the jury, I do need a few minutes to resolve a legal issue. That's my responsibility. So if you could, close up your notes and leave them there on your chair. And I'm going to excuse you back into the jury room for a couple of minutes. I will get you back out here as soon as I can. Don't begin deliberations. Don't talk with anybody outside the jury. And no research on any of the issues. Thank you. All right, you all can have a seat. Mr. Vizicaro, what I'm going to do is at this moment, I need to do some research and speak with the attorneys.
Okay.
So I'm going to excuse you to the hallway. There's a thing called the rule of sequestration that has been requested by both parties. Mm-hmm. And that means that you cannot discuss your testimony or the questions asked of you with anyone else. You can't discuss other witnesses' testimony or what questions they were asked or what testimony they gave while hearing court, or do any research on the case, watch it, or anything else.
Understood.
All right, we'll call you back as soon as we can.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm just going to ask before I start doing my research, do you have any cases that you want me to know about right now?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so let's, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're traveling under the words in the statute, specifically 9803 6.
Understood. All right, so I'm thinking it's going to, I need about 10 minutes or so. So we're going to take a 10-minute recess, maybe 15-minute recess. I want to look this up as well because I want to find a case that gives me some direction.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Of course, that means you can too when we go back on the record.
Yes.
All right, you guys ready to go back on the record?
Yes,
Yes.
printing something.
All right, the objection is hearsay. Any other objections?
Judge, also, I would like to make a relevance argument that the fact that he's going back and forth in this email about a specific property, there's no relevance to it.
All right, proponent, go ahead, sir.
Well, I think it's admissible, one is a business record, which we've already qualified. Business records traditionally contain hearsay, and under the statute, Your Honor, specifically subsection C, we got this email from the state. However, we then gave it back to the state in its isolated form. They have not filed any objection to it, so they've waived that objection, according to the business records exception. We also believe that it shows Doug Benefield's state of mind, that he was in the process of buying a home directly behind Ashley Benefield's home during the time period when the South Carolina injunction was in full force and effect.
All right, anything else, sir?
No, sir.
State?
Judge, I found a case I would like to put on the record, Thomas v. State, 993 Southern 2nd, 105 from 2008. It is specifically addressing an email that was put in as a business record. I didn't have long to read this, but it was an email that was sent to an apartment complex manager of some sort, and it appears as though it was not qualifying as a business record, and additionally, the hearsay within the email was not admissible. There is a yellow flag, and I'm trying to look at it now.
you review Thomas v. State? Mr. Taylor?
Yes, sir.
All right, do you want to make any argument on it?
No, sir.
So Thomas v. State is helpful. It's 993 Southern 2nd 105 First DCA. Although it was the state introducing the email against the defendant, the state sought to introduce an email that was prepared by an employee of the apartment complex where the victim lived and was murdered regarding statements made by the victim that she had someone living with her that was not on the lease for a year and she wanted that person out. And obviously the state was introducing that to prove that that was the defendant and that the victim was trying to evict him, and that was part of the reason why he then murdered her. And the first DCA found that even if the email from the employee's side qualified as a business record, and I seem to, I don't see where they actually found and held that the email was a business record, which was my original question, but ultimately concluded that the statements that were made and then by the employee and then communicated through that business record, those statements were not, well, first they're hearsay, but they were not part of the records and the data compilations of the business itself. And that although hearsay may exist within exhibits that fall within an exception, such as business records, those hearsay statements must still qualify under a separate exception to the hearsay rule. And in this particular situation, if I'm understanding correctly, what the defense is asking is to introduce Defendant's Exhibit 27 through Mr. Vizzacaro as his business record that he keeps. But according to Thomas, and then they also cited a prior case of theirs, Van Sant v. State, VANZANT, 372 Southern 2nd 502, Florida 1st DCA 1979. Even if this qualifies as a business record, which again, I have not found a single case that says it does or doesn't, and I don't see in my review of Thomas where it says it is or isn't. But the statements of Mr. Benefield are being offered to prove the truth of the matter that he's looking to buy a house in Lakewood Ranch are hearsay without exception.
But the exception, Your Honor, is his state of mind. It clearly shows Mr. Benefield. Let's not forget what the defense is here. The court's allowed me now to bring in evidence of domestic violence, and here is Mr. Benefield, Judge White, negotiating with the realtor to buy the house directly behind the home where Ashley Benefield lives, and he's doing it at the time the South Carolina domestic violence injunction prohibits that. He would not be able to buy that house directly behind Ashley Benefield's home. It's like 200 feet away, 100 feet away. And it's a continued pattern and practice. That corroborates your defense.
Do you want to be heard on 90.8033, then existing mental, emotional, or physical condition?
Judge, his mental state, that still has to be material to a material fact. And his state of mind at that time is not a material fact. Also, I think the defense is misrepresenting some of what's in the email. Mr. Benefield never said he wanted to buy the house. He said he wanted to rent the house, and he said, I'll have to check with Ashley first. So I think some of the misrepresentation that's going on, we should probably just read the email. But I don't think it has anything to do with his state of mind. His state of mind at this point in time is not relevant.
All right, as I've said before, are you going to establish the location of the home through Visicaro,
Yes, sir.
where it was
Yes, sir.
in relation to the house where Miss Benefield lived?
Yes, sir.
And then are you going to then just argue during closing, I would assume?
Yes.
All right, so there's going to be no more witnesses. This is the end of this road to establish
Yes. This is just.
witness-wise.
This is an isolated act of DV. Yes.
All right,
Judge, if she didn't actually know about this, then I don't know that it's relevant.
well, and that's what I was thinking because, hold on, it's not an act of violence though.
Right.
Or threat, but under 9803 subsection 3, a statement of the declarant's then existing state of mind, emotion, or physical sensation, including a statement of intent, plan, design, when it's offered to prove the declarant's state of mind, emotion, or physical sensation at the time or any other time, or prove or explain acts of subsequent conduct of the declarant.
Then, Judge, I would just ask that this witness be asked questions if he is allowed to testify. I don't know why we even have to speak about an email. Just, were you helping Doug Benefield and were you looking at a certain house?
I think that would obviate some of the evidentiary concerns I have that you asked if he was assisting him in finding a location. Did you find one? Where was that location at that you were talking about putting an offer on?
Indeed, and if the court rules against the admissibility of the email, that would be my intention. On behalf of Ms. Benefield, though, I would like to present the best defense that I can. And I think that the email clearly is something the jurors can have, read, see. It's tangible. It has the same kind of impact, Judge, that the prior inconsistent statement of Gillen or the emails involving Stephanie Murphy does. And in the absence of a reason why it should be kept out, I would like to admit it.
All right. Thank you both very much. I'll allow the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 27 under 90.803-6 for the Realtor's portion and 9803-3 for the Benefield portion. With the understanding that, again, this is a relatively collateral matter.
In and out, Judge.
All right, can you bring the witness back in, Mr. Visicaro? All right, welcome back, sir. Just take your spot back there in that chair. We're going to get the jury back in and begin your testimony.
Sounds good. Thank you.
We'll bring them in.
I should be standing as they come in this way.
It's up to you. All right, y'all can have a seat. Welcome back, everybody. Get ready to begin deliberations. Talk with anybody outside the jury about the case or do any research. Everybody say no. Mr. Taylor, you may resume your direct examination.
Thank you, Judge White. Mr. Vizzacaro, when we last broke, you told us you were a realtor and that Douglas Benefield had contacted you relative to a house in Lakewood Ranch.
That's correct.
All right, I'm going to pass to you, Mr. Vizzacaro, what I've had marked as defendant's exhibit number 27. That would be the email messages that you referred to before when we were last in front of the jury, correct?
Correct.
Is that a true and accurate copy of the email exchange between you and Douglas Benefield?
Yes.
What is the date of that exchange?
The last email I see here was March 12th of 2018.
March 12th, 2018. Your Honor, at this time, I would move to introduce that into evidence on behalf of Ms. Benefield.
All right, same objections, overruled. Defendant's exhibit 27 will be received.
Now, Mr. Vizzacaro, I know you've told us that the home, do you recall the address of the home?
Yes.
What was it?
5060 Newport News Circle.
All right, I'd like, with the court's permission, to dim the lights, and we're going to put a diagram up there for you. And as luck would have it, you have the pointer. Okay, so this will give you
The beam?
the.
Okay.
Would you please show us on that diagram where the house was that Mr. Benefield contacted you about purchasing?
This one right here.
Right there. Now, that house, is it directly behind the house in front of it with a red dot on it?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you know, Mr. Vizzacaro, who was living in the house with the red dot at 11331 White Rock Terrace?
No, I don't.
And do you know whether or not, if I may, you know whether or not you don't know who was living in this house?
No.
This is the house that Mr. Benefield was interested in purchasing.
Correct.
Do you know whether or not Mr. John Sant lived in that house?
I don't know.
Give me just a moment, Your Honor. I don't believe I have anything further. Okay. Vaccaro, my oversight. I'm going to pass to you what I've marked as defendant's exhibit number 28 and ask you if you can identify it.
Yes, that's the house.
That's the house that Douglas Benefield had contacted you about purchasing.
Correct.
And is that in Exhibit 28 a true and accurate reflection of the locale?
Yes,
Does it have a dot on it?
it does.
Does it have an address?
It does.
What is the address?
5060 Newport Circle. Newport New Circle,
On
excuse me.
behalf of Ms. Benefield, Your Honor, move to introduce that as defendant exhibit 28.
No objection.
Received.
That's all. Thank you very much, Mr. Fisicalo.
You have to wait.
Gotcha.
Cross?
So you've had the opportunity to review the email, correct?
Yes, I have.
If I could just
That's right.
grab it real quick. And for the record, this is State's Exhibit 27. And it appears as though you're speaking with Mr. Benefield about potentially this house coming up, or the price being lowered on this house, correct?
That's correct, yes.
All right. So you were contacting Mr. Benefield about that?
I reached out to him about that.
Okay. And he actually said he may just want to rent. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
And he also said he didn't want to do anything without speaking to Ashley first.
That was a comment that was later in the conversation, yes.
Okay. And if I could show you State's Exhibit 27, it's very small type at the top, so you might be able to.
That's why.
For the record, defense exhibit 27.
I'm sorry, Defense Exhibit 27. Does he say there that he needs to speak with Ashley first?
It appears that way, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. No further questions.
Can you redirect?
Nope.
Can the witness be released?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am?
Yes.
All right, sir, you're released from your subpoena. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, can you state, defense, can you approach real quick? All right, call your next witness.
Defense would call, Your Honor, Dr. Jason Pintel. Yeah.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Hello, doctor. Welcome back.
Hi there, thank you.
As you may recall, my name is Judge White. I'm presiding over the case. Same rules as last time. Just make yourself comfortable. Adjust that microphone as you need. Speak in a loud, clear voice.
Good afternoon, Dr. Pintel.
Hi there,
Welcome back.
thank you.
As a result of the counseling sessions that you had with Douglas Benefield, did you reach any conclusions with respect to Doug?
Objection. Improper testimony. Opinion testimony.
Can you go ahead and approach?
Okay, Dr. Quintel, so a couple of questions about your practice.
Yes, sir.
I think you told us your specialty was trauma.
Correct.
And for purposes of practicing your profession, various clients come to you and relate their backgrounds, correct?
Various people come to me and they've had traumatic experiences in their background. Some may be upfront in presenting them, some may not. But purpose of treatment is to get now to work better, and sometimes that requires unplugging and healing emotional wounds from the past.
And as part of your art and science, you are trained in picking up and diagnosing various cues in your effort to reach conclusions to try and help them.
I'm not following the question.
As part of your practice, you're trained in being able to observe and detect various cues from these patients, are you not?
What do you mean by cues?
Indications of areas of trouble. For example, you don't always have patients that come out and say, oh, I am traumatized because of this. Rather, they may speak in obtuse terms, and you are charged with, among other things, trying to figure out where the trauma lies and why.
I would answer that slightly different than the way that you're framing the question. So when somebody comes in to see me, my job is to understand what's not working and really what's not working in their life today.
Okay.
If that leads us to unplugging earlier trauma, which frequently it does, great. But that's the purpose when they first come in, is me understanding what's going on with them today that's not working, and hopefully saying it back to them in a way that they're getting it, that I understand.
And in that process, you rely upon various statistical manuals and things that are reflective of your profession, do you not?
I don't do specifically a lot of diagnosing, so I'm not going to use the DSM frequently. I'm going to understand the background of why trauma sticks and how to get that better.
And to understand the background of trauma, have you in the past, or do you periodically consult learned treatises and periodicals, things that help you to reach that understanding?
If you're asking, do I go to continued ongoing training and development? Yes.
All right. Now, in this particular case, did you reach some conclusions about Douglas Benefield?
Objection. Qualifications.
Sustained.
Did you counsel Douglas Benefield?
I did, yes. Both Ashley and Doug.
All right. And in counseling Douglas Benefield, did you listen and absorb the various points that he was making to you?
Yes. Both when they came in as a couple and then when I did individual therapy with them separately.
And when they were in there as a couple, was part of your process observing the dynamics between the two of them?
Yeah, I wanted to understand why they were seeing me and what stuff we wanted to get better. So certainly I'm paying attention to what they're telling me, how they're communicating, what they're communicating, and such.
Okay. And part of that included how they acted when they were together and how they acted when you saw them separately.
Yes, I would say so.
Okay. Now, in making those observations and questioning them and listening to them, in your effort to try and identify the objective, Did you reach some conclusions about Douglas Benefield?
Objection. Foundation.
Would you approach, please?
Of recent deviation, Dr. Quintel. Tell us what degrees you hold.
So I have a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in social work, and a PhD in clinical sexology.
How long have you been practicing as a psychologist?
I got my master's in 98 and started working in the public school system. So since 98, 2006, I started a private practice.
And since you've been in private practice, Dr. Quintel, can you give us an idea of the number of patients that you've seen and counseled?
Thousands.
And your specialty in counseling patients runs to all three of those fields that you have degrees in?
Yes, I have a background in all of that, but my specialty is in trauma resolution.
Okay, and when we speak of trauma resolution, explain to us what that is.
So I think the first thing that somebody has to understand is trauma, or what we go through, isn't troubling because it happened, which is the conventional wisdom, is that because it was awful, it still hurts. But we're not troubled because it was bad. We're troubled because when it happened, emotionally the brain short-circuited and doesn't know that particular experience ever ended. So where therapy missed the boat is we felt that people buried and repressed, and we have to help them process and get it out of them. Where the methodology that I use is the reverse. It's about getting the good news in to the emotional part of the brain that doesn't know it's over. Think of it more like unplugging the memory, so emotionally the brain can read it as data about something that happened versus where it's been stuck as happening, which explains why when somebody frequently either talks about it, is reminded of it, or is in something similar to it, emotionally they're transported back to that awful moment. Right? If you have a friend telling you about something that was troubling them, and as they're telling you about it, it's almost as if they go back there to that troubling moment. Mm-hmm. So our goal is to keep the person more emotionally present as we unplug the emotional effect that the past has had.
And in that process, do you typically employ listening to patients?
Yes.
Do you typically employ making suggestions to patients?
I don't know if I would say it's making suggestions versus more kind of having a mutual outcome of how we want them to be in mind. So if I'm kind of creating a future self or an outcome, it's got to be something that they're good with, or if it shows up as conflictual, we're never going to be able to reach the outcome.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now,
so more instead of a suggestion, it's more of kind of a mutual outcome.
All right, and you went through this process with both Doug and Ashley Benefield.
I did, yes.
All right. Your Honor, I would tender Dr. Quintel as an expert in the field of psychology.
Do you want to voir dire the witness?
Objection.
Do you want to voir dire the witness as to experience, training, and knowledge?
Yes.
All right.
You do most of your work now in trauma resolution, correct?
I do, yes.
Okay. And how long have you done trauma resolution?
Since 2006, October.
So for many years. And you said you don't do diagnoses anymore, correct?
I don't look at diagnoses with people. I look at people because the notion of the diagnosis will help in understanding maybe some of the background of why somebody acts, but you're really working with the person. So if somebody says to me, do you treat OCD or, bipolar? I would say I work with people, not the disorder.
Okay. So when you're dealing with, for instance, Doug and Ashley Benefield, you're not doing so in order to create a diagnosis or evaluate. I guess what I'm trying to get at is there's a difference between therapy and a diagnostic evaluation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so your relationship with them was what?
They were referred to me by another therapist, and my job was to do trauma resolution. What I was told is that both had their own trauma, and there was some stuff within the relationship, and that I was tasked with unplugging the emotional effect of those experiences.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
You may resume your question.
So in treating people, not the disorder, you still, though, do you not have the capacity and the training and experience to understand if a disorder is present?
Yes, sir.
At this point, Your Honor, I would now tender Dr. Quintel as an expert.
And I
You
would
wanna be
object.
heard? Same objections?
Same objection.
All right, I will rule the objections goes to weight, not admissibility. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. So, Dr. Quintel, all right, we're rolling.
Okay.
Did you reach any conclusions with respect to Douglas Benefield?
Yes.
Would you tell us what those were?
Based on the conversations with both Ashley and Doug, Doug occurred as someone who was domineering, and the terminology that I would use at times would be super controlling. He was very dedicated to wanting the relationship to work. He was very interested despite conversations with some of the disparaging things that Ashley had said to him. He was very much still wanting this to work, and their plans were to move to Maryland.
All right. Did you reach any conclusions with respect to him being a real alpha male? Do you recall?
I would say that Doug occurred as somebody who was very built and well put together. And yes, I would say that he would fit the stereotype of an alpha male, in my opinion.
Did you conclude whether there was an intimidation issue present?
Ashley stated that she was scared of Doug.
Did you reach any conclusion, Dr. Quintel, about whether Doug's depiction of himself as being godly was reliable?
Objection outside of expertise.
Overruled.
You can answer.
Can you say that again, please?
Sure. Did you reach any conclusion with respect to Doug's presentation of himself as being particularly godly?
Yes, I think it was over the top.
All right, and did you reach any conclusion as to whether it was genuine?
I did not think it was fully genuine, no.
Did there come a time when you inquired of Doug why he would want to remain in this relationship?
Yes, I did.
Why did you do that?
Ashley had a lot of disparaging comments, stuff with CPS, claims of abusing their child, and I was concerned and curious why, with all of that negative stuff that may even negative affect his job and career with government, why he wanted to stay.
And was it true that you felt he was hell-bent on being together?
I know that he really wanted the relationship to work.
Did you conclude that he was never going to let her get away?
I don't know whether that's true, whether or not. I don't recall that.
All right, let me pass this to you and see
Please.
if it refreshes your recollection, if I may.
Thank you.
Does that refresh your recollection, Dr. Quintel, as to Doug's perception of letting Ashley get away from him?
Yes, I said that to the detective. I said it seemed more like I'm not going to let her get away from me.
Referring to Doug.
Yes, sir.
All right, and lastly, Dr. Quintel, did Ashley have anything to say to you about Doug's interest in Emerson and whether or not it was just as
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Did you reach any conclusions, Dr. Quintel, about Doug's interest in the child as opposed to Ashley?
Objection, Judge.
I'm going to sustain this to the opinion.
Was there an incident on one of these occasions when Doug was in your office that you thought was very strange as it related to the child?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled as long as it's factual.
Yes.
Can you say that question again, please? Thank you.
Was there an incident that you observed that you found particularly puzzling between Doug Benefield and the child, Emerson?
Yes, at the time that I spoke with the detective, I had an appointment and Doug had waited in the reception area, and it was a couples counseling, and Ashley was out in the car with the child, and I thought it was unusual that he didn't go out and see her. Given that they had the relationship they had, it may not be as unusual as I thought, but I was coming from having two little girls and what would be in my mind to do.
And how long was Doug sitting in your office at the time? Do you recall?
Well, it would have been at least an hour. I don't know how long I was in the appointment before.
And in that hour, from what you observed with Emerson, the child, outside in the car, Doug Benefield never once went out to say.
I wouldn't have been able to observe that because I would have been in session. I just knew that he was waiting in the lobby. I don't know whether anything other than that.
That's all, Your Honor.
Cross.
So you mentioned that it bothered you, or at least you noticed when he didn't go out to see the child. How long did you observe Doug Benefield in the waiting room?
I would have seen him when I first went out to grab the client, and then would have seen him when I came back out of my office.
And because of that, you came to the conclusion that he never went out and saw his child?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, in your direct examination, you said you met with Ashley Benefield alone 5 times.
Yes, ma'am.
And you met with Doug Benefield alone twice.
Yes, ma'am.
And you met with them together twice.
Yes, ma'am.
So the majority of the time you met with Ashley Benefield. Over half of the times you met with her.
To do trauma resolution. Yes, ma'am.
And her discussions with you and her recitations of things played into your decision about this opinion that Doug was being domineering and super controlling, did it not?
Yes, they were comments that she made and frustrations that she had within the system.
Okay. So it was not solely based on things that you were observing in Doug Benefield?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Redirect.
Nothing further.
Can this witness be released?
Yes.
State.
Yes.
All right, sir, you're releasing your subpoena. Thank you very much. Here you go.
Thank you.
Can we publish the couple of exhibits that we put in through listed as a Caro?
That's the wrong one.
And then I think, well, once a break for lunch.
27.
I don't think that's.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah.
Oh, you have 27?
27.
One photograph was already in,
One.
and then one we added together with the.
Yes, so members of the jury, we're going to pass these out and publish them. I'm not rushing you, but I'm going to talk while we're doing that. I think at this point, it's a good time for our lunch break. It's about 10 minutes after 12. So take your time. I want you to look through all of this, look through these exhibits, and then I'll excuse you.
Exhibits 26 and 27.
Those 27 and 28, and they'll be marked on them. There's a little sticker on each. Which should say 27, 28, and I think the other one is Defense Exhibit 1.
look at that. She is such a faker. You can totally see that she's smirky now and writing. What happened to all the tears? She's fake. She totally shot her husband, and I feel bad for his daughter, Ava. Okay, should we watch the Sarah Boone police interrogation or the stab in the back murder trial day 3? Yep, it's going to be just like the Brooks trial, Dave. I promise. Okay, let's watch Sarah Boone. Be back.
Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask you about these whenever we have a moment.
Sure. So obviously, he received his autopsy. So I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that. And since I'm talking about the incident, we just have to do it, just like we did yesterday.
Protocol?
Just like we did yesterday. Remember I read you the rights? Your rights? Yeah. So it's the exact same thing, but since I'm asking you follow-up questions, I need to read them to you, okay?
Sure.
All right. So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before and during questioning without charge. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one can be provided for you before questioning without charge. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
And do you understand what I just read you?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So this morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So so he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So like basically you're getting hit and then you get a mark from it. You'll get bruising. Like someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little
I haven't laid
swollen.
a hand on him.
Okay.
Also too, he fell off my son's bike.
Okay.
So I don't know. And he's notorious for running into the wall or the hall tree. So
Okay. What about the scratches? Because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on the back of his neck, kind of going, but it's going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
And they're all recent. They occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago, or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up to when he was.
In all honesty, we have not gotten into it.
Okay.
That's why, the only thing I thought you guys were going to ask me about, which I was going to be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
Mhm.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I've had my son over at the house too, so.
Well, your son was there when? When was he last there?
Oh gosh.
From my understanding, he was there last Tuesday.
I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week. So
Well, we're talking about Sunday.
Yeah.
We're just talking about what occurred Sunday. Because like I said, the injuries they occurred within that time period.
So you're talking about day before yesterday?
Sunday leading into Monday. You called us yesterday at 1, but the incident, you guys were painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So we're talking about Sunday and then into Monday.
I'm thoroughly confused because we had a good time sitting on the back porch having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles. And play and listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. Like, I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had, like on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on like his head and skull.
I have no idea.
As if something hit him.
I
considered
have not
force
touched him.
trauma.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
Then how would you get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your fingernails?
No.
Okay. Are you willing to let us
Absolutely.
swab underneath your fingernails?
Go for it.
Okay.
I have no idea, and I don't want to seem out of sorts, but I have no idea. We had a good day. It was a good day. We've had good days lately, even considering everything that's going on with our jobs and life in general and ex-wives and everything. It's been good. Like, I don't even know where this is coming from.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
said
even
the
know.
last physical was probably, you said, I think, what, a month ago? Where you got the injury, right? You said that was a
I'll
month
say
ago?
a few weeks, give or take, yeah.
A few weeks. That was the last, like, physical altercation between the two of you? You said a month ago he hit you with a curtain rod.
Yeah, with a curtain rod. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
Huh.
Like, we've been good. I don't know if, like, it's since the last time he got out of jail. Like, we've been good, and he's been having his classes and seeing his probation officer, who's amazing. So...
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
The probation officer?
No, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
I've been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me. So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. And I don't know if you talked to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So...
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago, so...
Give or take.
Right. So what do you mean by he comes after you? Like,
he gets belligerently drunk. Like, I don't know if you all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the pictures and the videos that I have taken. And at one point, I started documenting everything.
Okay.
So you all will see in my pictures bloody fingers, split foreheads. He split my nose. I've got this.
Right.
I don't know if Brian told you about it, where I had to have almost I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really, 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 really bad, where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards for them to tend to it, from him poking me in the back of the leg.
Right.
So it's...
Then why are you still with him?
Everybody asks me that. When I tell you guys this, I really love him, like I do, and I feel like I can help him. Like, I feel like I could help him, which I did, because he came a really long way from where he was in Philadelphia to moving back to here and to dealing with everything else that he's been dealing with. I've really helped him. I've bailed him out of jail, 3 times. I've gone to every single hearing and every single arraignment, everything that I did for him. Gone to see all his public defenders, go to the state. I've gone to the state. I did everything for him because I'm trying to help him, because I had hope in him. And he was trying. He was really trying. And then he starts to think about things, and I think he gets overwhelmed, and then it's like,
The next thing I know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is going to go, so I'm going to go upstairs and read a book, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to do something else. Or I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself, where I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things more prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that, so he would literally, not literally, but have smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time, I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink. And every time, his job broke his heart. And it made me sad because he had so much pride in his job. And the store that he took care of so much totally went downhill. Mm-hmm. And that broke his heart because he had put so much work and effort into fixing it up. And his manager was awful and basically gave up on all of the employees. So I think that had a huge bearing on why he would drink so much. His ex-wife is bonkers. Mm-hmm. She was all over him all the time. Send me money, send me money, send me money. How can I send you money when I don't have a job? And he's still trying to take care of me and Lucas by paying a bill here or there, getting some groceries. So he always had something on his mind, which is why, again, I got the puzzles and the paint to try to get him off of it so we don't have a drink, or he doesn't have a drink. So when you all see my phone, you can see all of the damage he has done to me and the videos of him smashing my television because he's belligerently drunk. Where most of the time, I just don't want to be there. And I try to help him. I try to calm him down. Mm-hmm. Eventually, he just passes out. Well, yesterday it made it sound like you guys were just drinking like a glass or two. Like, yeah, you obviously had the bottle, but you told me on recording, like, that you were not drunk, he was not drunk, you guys were having a good time. I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like being non-compos mentis, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control. Mm-hmm. So, I'm just saying, you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions, and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics. I'm not. We are not, you know. But you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and it got physical? No. Or is it...
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time. He's dancing with my dog. You can see that too on the pictures, him loving the dog. He loves the dog and dancing around, having a good time, and just being happy kind of thing. He doesn't know, I can get like maybe 2-3 glasses of wine and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you, like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did he have? The bottle was gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yes.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left over.
Yeah, about this much.
Mm-hmm. And then that you had I don't even know how the wine, how'd you guys get the wine for Sunday?
I'm guessing he went to Publix. Does he
leave the house and you stay home, or do you go to Publix?
Sometimes I'll go with him.
Okay. Did you go with him Sunday to Publix?
So most of the time what happens is, because the convenience store where we get cigarettes is here, and then Publix literally is cattywampus to it. Okay. So what he'll do is he'll go by Publix, and then on the way back, catch the convenience store.
Okay. So is that what he did Sunday?
I'm guessing that's what he did, because the next thing I know, he's walking in with a bottle.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
It's him trying to be nice, so I don't have to go out and do it. Plus, there's stuff that are around the house that I had to take care of. So that's usually what will happen. Or I'm folding laundry and he'll go run out and do whatever.
Okay. So, where were you guys
He's not
at
a-
on drunkenness, not drunkenness on Sunday?
You
told us you weren't drunk.
No, I was not drunk.
Right.
I was not drunk. So with him, I don't know. I know when it's like, oh, okay, man, where I have told him, slow down. It's starting to catch up with you. Slow down. Slow down. And another thing, too, is I don't like listening to music with him because he gets too involved in the music, and the music that he listens to is a little rough around the edges, and, like, just, it makes me fractious listening to his music. So I kept asking him, let's just you and me talk. You and me will just be the ones that are talking, which was fine, because, I mean, we were playing with the dog, whatever, and then it's like, okay, now let's do the painting. We just did the puzzle, took a break, now let's do this. Sure enough, sat down, we're sitting in there talking, laughing, talking about new movies, we're watching movie trailers while we're doing painting and all that other stuff. So it's still background noise to him, because I think that's what he's used to, is having background noise, where me, I can sit in here all day with not a peep. But he always has to have some kind of background noise, which I didn't mind because the trailers were cool, and he was interested in showing them to me, getting excited about movies that were out or upcoming.
Okay.
So
On your laptop you're talking about?
Mhm.
Like, okay.
And I mean, and then it was.
But you said it was a good day, like, you guys didn't have any conversations about your relationship, you guys didn't go down, like, the rabbit hole, like, had too many to drink, and you guys start getting...
Nope. When I tell you this, it made me so happy that he actually listened to what I had to say with just, we'll get through it. This will be fine. It's just, it's a small hurdle that you and I together will get through, because...
I'm talking about the money, jobs,
daughters,
stress.
Yes.
Nothing
No.
relationship-wise, though? Like, no issues, like, did you guys have a conversation about your relationship, or was it just about,
just
like,
what's
the stress?
going on right now?
Got it.
I try to evoke it from him so he gets it off his chest, because I call him the volcano, where eventually he's going to erupt.
Right.
And what he has learned in his classes is to communicate,
Mhm.
which is a huge thing in a relationship,
Right.
where he has been practicing communication. So he actually talks to me about things and unburdens himself. Put it on me. I'll sit there and try and figure it out for you, like I have almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not a worry. Just tell me. Get it out of you.
Right.
But it was, when I tell you, I was so happy. Like, it was such a good day. I kid you not. The weather was beautiful outside. I'm the one that had him go inside so we can do puzzles and painting and listen to music or whatever else he wants to do. So then he starts doing whatever it is we're doing together in the living room, and then starts talking, because I think he gets comfortable with, okay, you know what, we're here, it is a good day. Let me go ahead and explain myself. So I know. Nobody else knows, but I know. Nobody knew George better than I did. I say that I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form. Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him. I miss him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him a lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and...
I never stopped.
Trying to...
I never stopped. That's what I'm here for. I never stopped. I'm here now because I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah, we just don't, I mean, it's unexplainable how he got these injuries, and...
I have no idea.
You were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody.
Okay. You had mentioned that you would take photos, videos, just kind of like a proof and just in general.
Yeah, I started documenting at one point, but that was way before, I think, the last time that he got arrested, where he was flying off the deep end.
Okay.
but then I had him bailed out. I got him out of jail.
Right.
But because he had violated the pretrial diversion, this time it's probation, so you don't have a choice in it. You have to go to see your probation officer. You have to go to these classes. It's court-ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Where it took him a while to get used to it and understand, they're not messing around. I even went down and met his probation officer, which I say she's wonderful. That's one of my questions, too, I need to talk to you about. Hugged me and said how much she knows that I take care of him. She called me personally one time when George was at work, when he was working. 42-minute phone call. She and I just saying how grateful she is that George has me. And she knows how hard I'm working to help him, just as she is and just as the classes will. So once he started actually going on a regular basis to the probation officer and then to his substance abuse class and his, I don't know what BIP stands for, Matters Intervention Program, and actually listening to what it is everyone had to say, he changed. Like I could see a change in him, where before lashing out, he would think about it. And would always come home and show me his papers, and we would look over his papers together, where it's like, wow, you actually are learning this in class? And some of the stuff that they would show them, like videos, he would come home and be like, Sarah, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. Because for a video that he watches to make him feel that way, where it's like, oh man, I have done her wrong. But he's changed. He changed.
And that's why you're still with him, even though he's done all these things to you. And
when I tell you I love him, I love him.
Even when you love somebody, you have limits.
Everybody tells me that. All my neighbors don't tell me that. The office, property manager.
At some point, somebody gets enough, then they have to do something to defend themselves.
I would just flee. And I don't know if you would like to see on my phone, or I think it's actually on a laptop. I actually, because, and you have to understand too, I have, like, prior to classes in PO, kicked him out. How many times? I had him arrested. How many times?
But you also went down and bailed him out.
I know.
The next day.
I know.
What's on your laptop?
What was I going to tell you? Oh, previously, I actually looked up how to file a restraining order.
Okay.
Because I would take him out, his parents, because of them constantly having to take him back in, his bags of clothes, all his stuff. The last time, the father came out and irate and just not even, I don't even know if he knew Lucas was in the car, just opened the back of my car and just started throwing all his crap in, just throwing it, like the car would jostle, he was throwing all his stuff. At that point, because I continually did it, not continually, I think I maybe did it 3 times, and he has nowhere else to go, they got fed up and said, nope, either you're staying there or you're staying here. But if you're staying here at their place, it's permanent. You're not going back over there anymore. So what happens is, he pursues me. So I don't know if you all know where Katie Way Trail is. Okay, so it's literally right there from our apartment. Would ride his bike to work, but before he would leave extra early and come up to the wall, stand on top of his bike and poke his head over because he would know that I would be outside having my morning cigarette and cup of coffee. And I would also know, too, what time he would get off of work, where I would know, come getting off of work, he's going to do the same thing. So it's not like I ever got, like, a break from him, where I told you all yesterday, or whenever it was, I started to feel that it was too much togetherness. And when you have too much togetherness, friction happens. So I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to go upstairs and read a book. But every waking moment, he wants to be with me. So, and mind you, our townhome is either upstairs or downstairs. So it's like, if you would like to sit downstairs and watch a movie or play on the laptop, look up some jobs, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to be upstairs maybe watching one of my shows or maybe reading a book. So, and then when that would happen, we really needed that. So what's for dinner? And then we would cook together and eat dinner. and then crawl in the bed and watch a movie.
Are you talking about this is like recent? I don't. You kind of like lost me. Like when? What are you?
It was
talking
a while, like a little while ago. But
But now you're talking about tension building up and that you need space. So have you been feeling that way lately, or
No.
Okay.
No. Okay, my thing is too, so you all know, I hate that you can't talk to her, but Dee, his ex-wife, when I say a monster, she's a monster. Like she withholds their children from speaking to him. So he gets upset about that, and then she like completely berates him about money, about the father that he is, what he did to her, all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. I mean, mind you, this has not like been recent, but which is why he didn't even bother calling anymore, because he knows that she's going to answer and he's going to have to talk to her, so therefore he can't talk to his daughter. The other time he talked to her, made her talk to Cookie. That's on my cell phone too, so you can see it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
What does she have to do though with anything about what happened Sunday and into Monday? Like,
no, I'm just saying like previously why the incidents would happen is she plays a big part in it.
Okay.
On top of job and money and groceries and all that.
Okay.
Sunday, when I tell you this, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is there anybody else at the house?
Nope, it's just me and him.
Since talking yesterday, do you remember any like timelines better? Like what time you guys were playing? What time he was zipped up in the luggage? What time you went upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around 4:30ish, and then.
You just said that it was dark when you were playing hide and seek, and I'm just curious if you remember.
But when we were outside, that's where we would start and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had him come inside so we could.
About what time? Do you remember what time that was? Is what she's asking.
And you said you went up to bed around midnight, fell asleep around 12:30ish. But those are the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight. So there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or
like when we started to play hide and seek.
Yeah.
Well, we went inside probably about, if I had to guess, we weren't out there too long. Maybe about 6-ish. Then
you're talking about from hanging out outside and like. Okay.
Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there and just enjoy the weather.
Gotcha.
Plus, it started to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it. Started to paint. Well, started listening to music for a little bit. Started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So 8 o'clock-ish?
Is when you went to hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off. That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs, and then he didn't come up, and you came down, and the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship. When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there, and it was in play because...
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
Well, I mean,
we were playing.
No, I know,
that
but
time,
I'm talking about hide and seek, which is a game, so...
The suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. If you, I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore, and I'm tired of looking at them. So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
Gotcha. No, I'm just asking, in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not, but obviously
No.
I understand, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter, you were laughing, he was laughing, but what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something that you guys normally do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We were actually this last game running out of places to hide because we have a townhome where it's upstairs or downstairs. So.
Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday?
No.
No?
I think I took a picture of a dog.
Okay. But your phone is password protected, you have the password, he has the facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password?
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
No.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if I did. Yes, it's me.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's a shared phone. Okay, how does he have access?
Sarah, can I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get
it?
into it because it's password protected?
He'll come and get it to me and I'll just do the face thing. Where sometimes too, like he'll joke with me and say, okay, I need to borrow your phone. And he'll hold it while I'm cooking or doing something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition.
No.
But he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm assuming, other than...
Well, Lucas.
Right. But Lucas wasn't there Sunday. Right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I maybe took a picture of them, the two of Tess and...
The dogs.
And George and them dancing, but I mean, it's just Tess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
If you need to move it around, go ahead.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shutting down.
Oh, okay.
Let me.
The battery doesn't last very long.
Yeah, it used to last a lot longer than that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right. No, I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked and...
No.
Okay, but why did you say it like that? Like,
I don't think you all understand who I am, where...
Okay. Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight-A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son.
Okay.
I excel at everything. I would not do that.
You wouldn't zip somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't, completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
Okay. No, it was just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
Why?
Well, we just want you to watch this. It came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please. Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
No.
I don't know how much I can take.
I don't know how to find your...
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No,
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you.
And this
Fuck
is,
you.
that's you, your voice.
Stupid. That's my name. Don't wear it up.
I can't fucking breathe, man. Terrific.
Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me.
I don't want to watch it, please. Okay.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase, he had 2 fingers hanging out, and you
I
went to
flipped him
bed.
over.
I can't breathe, man.
I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
There's 2 different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping him in different positions, and him saying that he can't breathe, and you saying, fuck
So
you.
this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image, it's upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep,
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah.
but not intentional.
No, you told me you went upstairs because
What?
you were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Stopped here.
Okay, but
Where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
It's, and his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no
gap.
hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just showing you. I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the other
I
video.
understand. I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end, it sounds kind of like a.
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you,
It's not malicious.
then what is that?
What does fuck you mean to you?
Well,
Like if I were to tell my
like he
partner.
does. Like, I get told everything but a white woman, so
Okay.
my intention was not to leave him in there. Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
But you went upstairs thinking that he could get himself
Yes.
out, but the video shows
That's
at
what I
no
told
point
you.
can I see his fingers. And
He'll
it
be up
looks
here any
like-
minute.
And then 30 minutes later, he didn't show.
And he's telling you
And I
he
didn't
can't
wake
breathe.
up.
Do you
He's
think
not
he's
able to get
joking? You told me he was laughing, and
We were
the
before.
video, there's no
When we
laughing.
first got in there, both of us were.
So how long was he in there for? Like, this video is at 11:12 when it starts, so was he in there for like a long time prior to you
No.
recording this?
No. No.
So it goes from funny to no longer funny,
But
and
I
you're
didn't,
the only one laughing.
but I didn't think that he was, like, panicky. Like,
So pushing up on a suitcase saying, Sarah, Sarah, Sarah,
I can't
I
breathe.
can't breathe.
George has done that in the past before, too, where it's just like he thinks that he's woe is me kind of thing, where it's like, I
Well,
don't
he's
think-
never been locked in a suitcase, that's
No.
where he couldn't get out, so.
It's kind of, I thought it was
And
the
you know
boy
the oxygen
crying
is
wolf,
coming.
crying wolf kind of thing.
Okay.
And again, my
But,
plan,
but nowhere in there is he laughing, is he joking, he is begging. And you're the only one laughing,
okay,
and you're the only one saying derogatory comments, like you're mad.
no. Please don't, I don't mean to sound negative, and I don't know if I can say this, but like, it's like you guys are kind of trying to like feed me. Like,
No, I'm just trying to show you a video that you no longer want to watch because you probably don't want to know the outcome of how and what you said.
well, I know what.
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
Oh,
Why don't you remember making the video?
probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
No. Just because I went upstairs and. Just because you're drunk doesn't mean that you.
You told us times that you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you don't like not having your wits. In my experience, if somebody cannot remember doing something to the extent of making 2 videos and taking a photo, they are intoxicated.
Okay. I understand where you all are coming from.
Well, we're just trying to make sense of it. We're trying to figure out what you're saying.
We're trying to figure out this video.
You explain it to us. We're listening.
I just did. Like, we were playing, and then, like, I thought it was. My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep. My plan was not to. He'll be up here any minute.
But you willingly went upstairs and went to sleep. No one forced you to go upstairs and get
My
ready
plan
for
wasn't
bed.
also to leave him in the suitcase.
So why didn't you take him out?
Because I went upstairs, and then I fell asleep.
But why didn't you consciously think, he's asking to come out, he can't
I didn't do it
breathe.
intentionally.
What do you think is going to happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not zipping it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to leave him in the
And what was
suitcase,
your plan?
waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then when he did it?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him, maybe I shouldn't?
No.
Well, that didn't cross your mind because it didn't happen.
That's like an assumption. Like, that's what you all are thinking. Just,
We're asking.
it's the whole,
You tell us.
it's the drinking. That's what it is. It's the drinking. I thought it was like, I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't,
He's telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
Guys, that's how we are with each other. Like, nobody understands our relationship. The whole suitcase thing never happened before.
Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And you love
I wouldn't do
George.
that to him either. I wouldn't do that to him.
So I just.
Well, it's not like, again, I don't think you all understand. Like, it's not that was not my intention.
Well,
y'all don't have any idea what
by
I've
your
done
acts,
for
though.
him.
But by your acts, and that's exactly right. You get to the point where you've done so much for somebody and they don't show you any appreciation.
He did.
chair, get about 12 to 15 inches from that microphone. You adjust up, down, left, right. There you go. And just speak in a loud, clear voice, it'll pick up everything.
Thanks, sir. Good afternoon. We